Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Dr. Doujinshi, and welcome back to another episode of Hentai Reviews, the only series where we wait till the very last minute in the middle of the night to start doing these intros, and sometimes we don't even think about them because we very, very rarely plan stuff out. Except for the script. We do have the script in hand. And now I just want to thank the fact that we have 91 subscribers now, because thanking you at the end of the video seems a little impersonal, because some of you are just around for the reviews, and really don't want to wait for the end. So I just want to say thank you up front before we get through all this. It means so fucking much to me. Now, let's go ahead and move on to the actual review. Since we ran out of our long-running series and we had to move on to a new thing, let's go ahead and start off with our miscellaneous one before we get back into a series that we have all known and loved. So, today we are going to be reviewing episode 2 of Watashi ga Toriko ni Natte Yaru. Now, if you're wondering why I said episode 2 of that, it's because I did episode 1 very, very early on in this series when I started reviewing these. Mostly because it was a particularly enjoyed one that I saw, and I had completely forgotten that there was an episode 2 to it. So I decided to go back and, go through the entirety of it, just to make sure that I had that extra precision on it. And if you're not aware, let me boil down what happens in the first episode. First episode, guy is told to sneak into a girl's locker room. And then he gets thrown in there with no clothes, and he has to film a lot of stuff, and he has to go and raid the girl's panties. Naturally, all the girls show up, and he hides in the locker. One of the girls opens the locker, finds him, and she's much larger than him, and gets really turned on by it. Alright, they hook up and then go into a shower. There's a little scene where there's the classic, opens the curtain, hey, what's going on? While she's still, getting boned the whole time. And then it just kind of ends with them kind of going at it in the shower. So, episode 2 itself is done by those motherfuckers over at Queen Bee. The people that get really good licensing, but also have really bad animation. So you know where this is going. Running at exactly 21 minutes long with 13 total categories, notable of which is, I like to call them zoomers, because the other term makes it feel a little bit weirder. When the girl is actually a 500-year-old succubus lolly? Yeah. Now it's the male version, even though the male version is just like a normal-looking dude, but scaled down to be like 4'8". Secondary is vanilla and filmed. Filmed does not appear in this, and I don't understand why it would be in this, but nonetheless. Starting off, it's actually during the original first episode where one of the girls that was also in the swim team or whatever the fuck was going on, is getting, accidentally interrupts the main girl from the first episode by asking what's going on, because this secondary girl had taken a guy into the locker room so they could hook up because they thought nobody would be there. They find the main girl from the first episode taking a shower and trying to, hide the fact that she's getting nailed. So naturally, second girl's like, alright, clearly nothing's going on here. Goes over to the guy that she snuck in and says, hey, we can go do it. So they go to the shower right next to them because they are very, very good at espionage, and essentially start hooking up right then and there. There. Which leads to scene number 1, that runs from 1 minute and 50 seconds to 7 minutes and 50 seconds with a small time period in between of about 10 seconds, from 8 minutes to 9 minutes and 30 seconds. The 8 minute to 9 minute and 30 seconds portion is essentially cutting over to the ending of the sex scene between the main characters from the first episode. Oh, the girl that was trying to hide the fact that she was hooking up with somebody in the shower? Yeah, we're switching back over to them for just a minute. Yeah, actually, the whole rest of the damn episode. After they hook up, they continue to do it the same way over and over for a period of time, and they bicker about it, about how they've been meeting up. She's okay with the way that's been going, but she's also, apathetic towards any sort of change that'll happen. Might as well happen. he is like, I want it to be more special, so how about we go out on an actual date? She's like, sure. And then she, after that whole experience where they both part ways, she then goes up to her friends, one of them of which was the girl that was spying on them, which was weird. The fact, like, hey, we know you're getting laid. Let's get laid right next to you. But she goes over to both of them and says, hey, do you have, like, any good dresses? Because I've got, like, tracksuit, nothing else. To which case, one of the girls says, sure, I've got a piece of clothing that'll fit you. Naturally, the main female is already muscular and tall, so she sticks out like a sore thumb. So you know what we need to do there? Put her in a mini skirt and put her in a crop top. She goes out and she's easily found by her new boyfriend after being surrounded by a whole bunch of people who think she's either a model or a stripper. The guy immediately is like, I can't contain my love for you. And then pee-pee do the hard. And then she picks him up and says, okay, we need to get the fuck out of here. And then disappears off into the distance, finding themselves in a park, in a secluded portion of the park, but in the park nonetheless. This is a public place. Nice. And they have what I like to call getting rid of the evidence sex. You know, it's where the guy is turned on and the girl doesn't want anybody to know. Well, so that leads into scene number 2. From 12 minutes and 45 seconds to 17 minutes and 20 seconds. And after their whole hookup that starts out with, like, we need to get rid of your erection, it turns into, I now have an erection for the exact same reason, and you have to deal with it. It ends with the seat right behind the bushes that they had been hiding in had housed the friends who were saying, like, hey, I can't believe you gave her that outfit. Yeah, it's actually my sister's. It normally goes with cat ears and a few other things. Is your sister a stripper? We're not going to elaborate that in this episode or the entire series. But somebody on the internet will ask these questions for some reason. Doing God's work. Nonetheless, she then pulls them through the shrubs and says, what the fuck did you get? Why'd you give me this costume? As the episode ends and the series ends right then and there. So, as long as we're at the end of it right here, let's go ahead and get into the animation. Let's go ahead and get into the actual pillars of the whole thing that hold this whole review together. So let's go ahead and cut to that screen that I haven't used in forever because we've been doing a lot of repeat series over and over. Now. Thank you very much. Now, on to the animation. It's Queen Bee. 3 out of 10. Queen Bee is always 3 out of 10 unless they do a disservice to a lot of people. Queen Bee, 3 out of 10. This was not their best work. It was not their worst work. 3 out of 10. So, characters. These are very basic characters that are meant for, like, vehicles for sex. Like, there really wasn't anything here. At least in characters that have, like, a motivation towards, like, oh, we're in a porno. They can have over-the-top personality that comes off more, but the girl is so apathetic to, like, anything that happens that her immediate thought is sex. It's not, like, a goofy way of justifying sex. It's just sex. And that's pretty bland, and the guy doesn't help out anything. The only character that you have any sort of, like, oh, there might be a personality, is the friend that fucks around and gives them the clothes and hooks up with a dude right next to them. Really, there's not much to work with, but it's not horrible. 4 out of 10 for the characters. Sorry. And what we're all really here for is the plot. A lot of it is greatly exaggerated, but it has very limited categories. Like, this is vanilla sex to a large standard, but there's so much, like, exaggeration in the things that are produced during that time. The movement, even though, like, the Queen Bee does have a lot of, like, PNGs posted over, like, moving GIFs the entire time. It's just so weird to watch, but there's exaggeration in the movement, so you feel like somebody's having a good time. Overall, I'd give it a 6 out of 10. It's above average. It's above average doesn't fit it right, but average is a little down, so I might as well. 6 out of 10. So, what we're all here for, the overall score of the entirety of it. Averaging it up from 3, 4, and 6, that creates 13. 13 divided by 3 is 4.3 repeating, so we round down. So, overall, 4 out of 10. The best way I can describe it is... it's okay. Like, probably not going to come back to it, but, you know, it's okay. Not the worst thing to come back to, not the best thing to come back to, and it's definitely below average, but it's okay. But nonetheless, let's go ahead and end it right here. Thank you all for being here. I appreciate the hell out of absolutely everyone that has supported me along the way, even though, like, your support is essentially just, oh, I've heard of that one, click, and then you watch the video. Thank you so much. It makes me so happy to see that people are willing to watch these videos. And thank you for being here. It really means a lot to me, and there's no way that I can make this any more, like, redundant in by saying thank you, but thank you is all I can say. I appreciate everything that I've been doing, and I thank each and every one of you. So, let's go ahead and end it there. Have a nice day. Don't be a dick, there's too many of them, and wash your fucking hands. I've been the Doctor. Peace.